This is Wilmington Weekly with Matt Perkey. Coming to you from sunny Florida this week, here is your Wednesday City Council preview episode. Thursday night, Council meets in its standard format, a 6 p.m. public workshop followed by the 7 p.m. regular meeting in Council chambers. The workshop is where City Council members review legislation, hear presentations, and ask questions. The regular meeting is where the formal readings and votes occur. Now let's walk through the workshop first. The first major item is a presentation from Clinton County Emergency Management on the County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Council will hear an overview of the plan before considering formal adoption later in the meeting. The plan covers a wide range of risks: flooding, tornadoes, severe weather, infrastructure failure. It also addresses cybersecurity concerns, utility disruptions, and public health related hazards. This is one of those documents that sounds dramatic, but is mostly administrative. Federal rules require communities to have approved hazard mitigation plan in place if they want to remain eligible for certain FEMA mitigation grants. Adopting the plan does not change local law, it doesn't appropriate money, it does not automatically launch projects. It formally recognizes the county-wide framework and keeps Wilmington eligible for the mitigation funding. If any specific project listed in the plan ever moves forward, it would require separate council approval. This vote adopts the framework, not the individual sections. Next in the workshop is legislative review under city services. Council will revisit the downtown parking sign discussion that began with Shoemaker's presentation in the last workshop. If you remember correctly, that presentation kind of generated two possible legislative directions. Trevor Shoemaker's original proposal of removing all the signs, and a compromise alternative suggested by Service Director Crowe. This remains in draft form. No formal vote is scheduled yet, but Council will need to decide which approach it prefers, and this should be the first time that those competing ideas are reviewed side by side in written form. Also in the workshop, Council will review two resolutions related to the bridge over Lytle Creek out at the solid waste landfill. One resolution authorizes advertising acceptance of bids for materials. The other authorizes advertising and acceptance of bids for construction. Again, this is discussion before formal readings happen during the regular meeting. The workshop agenda also includes review of the natural gas aggregation resolution and a supplemental appropriations ordinance. But as of the time of this recording, the detailed supplemental appropriations document had not been released publicly, so we'll listen for specifics Thursday night, and I'll cover any notable adjustments in the recap. And that pretty much covers the workshop, so we'll go ahead and move on to the 7 o'clock regular meeting. Under old business, there's a second reading on a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a real estate purchase agreement. At the last meeting, Council discussed the potential acquisition of East End School. This item continues that process. A second reading indicates the legislation is moving through the normal sequence toward a final vote. Under new business, the two landfill resolutions appear as first readings. Council is not awarding contracts at this stage. They're authorizing the advertising and acceptance of bids. Once the bids are open and evaluated, Council would later vote on awarding to the lowest and best bidder. Also under new business is the resolution approving adoption of the Clinton County Hazard Mitigation Plan. This appears for 3 readings. 3 readings suggest Council may consider suspending the rules and voting for all 3 at the same night. This is common for framework or administrative items like this. There's also a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with IGS Energy for an opt-out natural gas aggregation program. Aggregation allows the city to negotiate natural gas supply rates on behalf of residents. In an opt-out structure, eligible customers are automatically enrolled unless they choose not to participate. This resolution is the first step in that cycle. The aggregation program typically finalizes in the fall, and residents would receive notice in advance with rate information and instructions on how to opt out if they choose. If they do nothing, they will just be put into the aggregation program. Under finance, landfill bond legislation is listed, suggesting possibly bridge and landfill infrastructure work may be tied to longer-term financing. Bonds are commonly used for capital projects, so costs can be spread out over time. Reports to council include the February income tax report and the retained hotel lodging tax report. As of this recording, those detailed reports have not yet been released publicly, but as I mentioned prior, I'll review those once available and include anything notable in the recap. As always, if you want to hear the discussion and reasoning behind these items, the 6 o'clock workshop is usually where that happens. The 7 o'clock meeting is where the formal readings, public comment, deliberation, and votes occur. I'll recap the key developments after the meeting, and that's your preview for the Thursday, March 5th, Wilmington City Council meeting. Take care. We'll see you soon.